This fucking song.
That's radical.
It's amazing.
Sonic Adventure 2. Which song is that?
That's the way I like it. From Metal Harbor.
Awesome. I got it. From Metal Harbor. I'll be listening to that shit later.
This game has so many good like ska sounding guitar riffs.
That's fucking rad. Amazing. Some good old 2000s music.
Somebody was fucking calling me on Facebook at 4 a.m.
Why?
I don't know, but I saw it and I went, no.
I still have fucking...
Never.
People try to call me on Instagram all the time. It's weird.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that, so I use Marketplace a lot.
Yeah.
For work, and lately, because the meta is, like, taking over the world, like, Instagram's getting integrated into Facebook in weird ways.
Are you in frame?
Kind of, but not really. It's turned that way.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all
Good
I'm trying
thing
to
this is
figure out.
just the bullshit piddly conversation beforehand.
Well, it's probably going in there. I don't know. Ow, fuck.
Oh, he shocked it and then turned off. Weird. So, what was I talking about?
You're talking about Meta taking over the world.
They're gonna kill us. Replace us with Facebook avatars. Okay, but look. No, it's annoying. So, like, I'll get random messages from people, almost exclusively scammers, from Instagram that say, is this still available? And then I'm like, it's like, this person is trying to contact you, but it goes to message request.
Yeah.
So it's set up. If somebody contacts you about an item you're selling on Facebook, it tells you.
Yeah.
If somebody does it from Instagram, it goes to messaging requests. So then it made me think for like weeks that something was wrong with my like business profile, because I was like, it's not like, why does it keep sending like Marketplace messages to request it? Then I'm not seeing them, so I'm not responding to people because I don't see their. It was a nightmare. I was like, these people think I hate them.
If anybody's gonna be like, is this still available? Just be like, yes. How much? Like, or just start the sale. Start the sale.
No. We do a whole thing.
3,000.
Because it's not for me, it's for work. So it's like, yeah, it's scripted. Basically.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's super easy. Like, I don't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
It's one of those super simple like tasks that I like to do. Oh, put posts on Facebook. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Can I get a job where I just do that?
I'm so yawnsome today. What's going on with that?
I want to be positive today.
Positivity.
I don't know how we can.
Today's the day when we talk about sunshine. We're gonna talk about all the happiest things that we know together.
I don't know about all that.
Talk about ducks. Ducks are happy.
Ducks are good.
They rape a lot. Ugh. Some of the rapinest creatures out there.
I don't know if you can even say that word anymore.
Ducks?
Yeah.
They have bizarre corkscrew penises that explode out of them, and duck vaginas corkscrew in the other direction and have all sorts of twists and dead ends in them just to try to stop the rape, and it doesn't work.
I don't think it's to stop it.
Ducks are remarkably sexually violent. Remarkably.
Oh. Okay, so you're gonna...
I was starting in about ducklings, and then I realized that ducklings, adorable, sweet little ducklings, grow up into horrible rapist ducks.
Therein lies the problem with the show, right?
Is that we think about things and realize that everything's terrible.
Well, it's like somebody in the comments on the last one was like asking if we could like start letting people know before we talk about like crazy subject matter, which is fair. That's a totally fair thing to ask.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very reasonable request.
But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't know how exactly we do that other than saying at the start of every episode,
don't fucking watch this.
Yeah, because like it could be because it's such a tangential thing where we just randomly will start talking about something like as Forrest just did.
That is the problem. Like if this show were even a little bit scripted, we could probably pull that off.
Like I didn't even want to talk about this right now, but
about how we need to be putting trigger warnings on things.
Yeah, but like
we should like that's it. Like I was about
and
to
again,
say,
I want to say that it's clear to us that is a fair
Yeah, it's very, very reasonable request.
That's a fine ask.
If we were to just like what we need to get across is that nobody should be watching this show.
Nobody is safe,
and nobody just expect the worst because it's a bad show. And like
I have triggered myself on this show while recording this show.
I was gonna make some dumbass joke about how we could just call the whole show trigger warning, but then we would just attract fucking like incels.
Yeah, right. That would just be
all the Jordan Peterson fans would tune in, and then we'd just be aggressively leftist at them, and they'd be like, "What is this shit?" And they would be the ones who got triggered. It's a great idea, actually. Yeah, Never mind. I'm super into this. We'll call it trigger warning.
We have another show coming soon.
Another show where it's just this, but somehow worse. just to piss off all the Joe Rogan fans. I told you about the fucking the Joe Rogan guy who went to my Instagram and just commented the N-word 10,000 times, right? Because I said
that doesn't help Joe Rogan. Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
First of all, Joe Rogan, I don't think would go to anybody's page and comment the N-word 1,000 times.
Well, it's because I said Joe Rogan isn't a good source of information. That's all I said about him. And somebody with the fucking their handle was Joe Rogan is awesome 1 2 3 4 5 Joe Rogan.
You can learn a lot of interesting stuff from the people, some of the people that have appeared on his podcast over the many years because he's done so many shows.
Yeah.
There's some very interesting conversations that happen on that show. It is not a good source of information.
No, and it's not a great show, and like most.
This isn't a good source of information.
No, God, no. I
to be fair, I mean, like we try to be accurate, but like we're not.
It's and
actively fact checking every single thought that passes through our stupid face holes.
Right, like I make educational content, and when I do that, I'm very careful to look things up and to double check. Exactly, it's like that's my job. I'm just here to fucking bullshit with my high school friend. Like
poo-poo fucking doo-doo.
And you could argue, like, well, what's the difference between you and Joe Rogan? The difference is we don't platform crazy people. We're just crazy. That's it.
Yeah, we're platforming ourselves.
We're two white dudes on the internet with a podcast. Nobody should watch this. It's terrible. Half white. We're white and a half. We're 100.
But it is like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I grew up mostly in suburban America, and while I grew up impoverished, I know what it looks like to not be like discriminated against. Just for the color of your skin. So like, there's that. And like I do speak from that experience, so like that's why it took a while, but eventually it set it because I did grow up poor, but it took a while eventually, and I understood like, oh. No, I know what it's like for life to suck. I know it's hard. I know things get difficult. I've been hungry. I've been poor. I've been unclothed. I haven't been black.
No.
I haven't been Hispanic. I haven't been Japanese.
Yeah.
I haven't been anything else. That's not like a moral failing. And I think that's what it...
Just your life hasn't been easy by any means, but it hasn't been made harder because of the color of your skin.
Yeah, it's like admitting that somebody else is like, oh, like black people have a more difficult time with certain aspects of American life than I do because of the color of their skin doesn't take away from the fact that my life has sucked in some way.
Yeah.
It just means I'm acknowledging that, like, I don't know that experience.
Right.
And a lot of people still struggle with that.
Conversations about intersectionality and privilege are still unfortunately difficult to get through a lot of the time.
Well, they're hard to get through because most people are all completely reactionary about the whole thing. Because, and I hate to say it, but, like, because I know it makes me sound like an asshole, but to me, I think we're too stuck. Everybody is too stuck on, like, how is this hurting me and not like how is it hurting everyone overall?
Yeah.
And that's not to say like, oh, how does this hurt all of America, although that's like a part of it, right? How does this hurt the state, the country, the world? Like that's how you scale up.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, it's just it's you in order for somebody to explain to me like what I didn't understand about like internalized misogyny and racism and cognitive biases and all that stuff, like there were walls up. And the only way people got those walls down was by treating me decently and talking to me.
Yeah.
And at least showing me respect. Like they disagreed and they wanted to explain their point of view, but they were respectful about it. And that's all it takes for me to at least listen.
Right.
So when that happened enough times, I changed my mind. And I was like, oh no, it's not like that. Because I never really was like super hardline in the camp for like against what's it called? Like the bills that kind of like regulate like hiring processes, like for equality and things. It's
affirmative action and whatnot.
Yeah, like things like that.
Yeah.
I was never really like, oh, it's a problem, because I was always kind of the mind like, well, it wouldn't have been passed if it didn't need to be.
Right.
Like, but I was like, well, maybe, you know, I think you could say there's a time where maybe I would have listened to the talking points of like, well, it's served its purpose and it needs to go away now or something. Now it's doing more harm than good. Well, now, like, you wouldn't catch me dead saying that shit.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've also just lived more. I've experienced much more, like, racism. Not just to me, but I've seen it. Dealt with it. Seen friends go through it, friends and family.
Lost a lot of more faith in humanity at this point.
Lost a lot more faith in humanity. Again, being positive, trying to bring the better things that make us happy to the forefront of the conversation.
Shit needs to be kept in line.
Again, yeah, just trying to really just keep it upbeat. Racial oppression. A warning. I'm sorry.
What gets me?
What sucked is I couldn't figure out what I was like, man, what did we? I was like, is it because we talked about abortion? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, no. I was like, we probably made some kind of horrible joke.
Probably.
Some kind of horrible, awful, disgusting joke. Like, if there were a God in heaven, he would send us both to hell for that joke. Singularity. And I don't know. I don't know what it was. I haven't watched the full episode yet. I do apologize if anybody's like had a physical or traumatic response or reaction to anything I ever say.
It's an interesting
because I've been through that and I know what it's like. So it sucks.
It's an interesting thing with trigger warnings because, like, on the one hand, my initial gut reaction is to say, like, the world exists and you don't get a warning label and you have to be able to adapt and just live with it. And even if if you don't want to watch it, turn it off and all those usual things.
You're responsible for your triggers.
Yeah.
All
that's my initial gut reaction because that's the way that you handle literally anything else. But also there are some people where it's like such a PTSD situation where like it's out of their control. You know what I mean? It's something that actually really causes this. It's not just I don't want to hear this today. You know what I mean? And so like when I first heard about those, that was my like it's like you're asking me to like if you go to the store and you buy something, you want to know what's in it. You know what I mean? It's the same situation basically. This is how I see it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting thought. And like that's because I was always against like the ideas of like you can't offend anybody. Like that's I hate that. I hate when people say that's offensive and that's the entire argument. That's not an argument.
I know it's also weird too because when this stuff was going, we were growing up and having these conversations. The whole political landscape was different.
It is, yeah.
And like it's weird to think about even now, but like that's a time when Democrats or liberals, for lack of better terminology, like really felt like they were being silenced.
Yeah.
And they were being told they couldn't do certain things. They were being put down. Like, I mean, their protesting has gotten a little bit easier. I mean, now they shoot like more beanbags at you and stuff. And the police more actively fight you in a protest situation, depending on who you are. But like the amount of people who come out to these things now is a lot larger. The amount of people who are willing to say like, no, we're doing the actual protest where we really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's not about breaking shit, but it is about standing strong.
Yeah.
And marching one step forward again.
Yeah.
And then standing strong. And then doing it again. Because the whole thing with the protest is like, bro, you got this impending group of people marching towards you.
Right.
Who want answers.
Yeah, the last thing is you're rubbing somebody's face in the problem. And that's something that we would always say, like, especially like, whenever we talk about like racial injustice or about homophobia or about, civil rights issues, whatever, it's like, I understand that you're getting sick of hearing about it. They have to live it every day. So as mad as you are of having to listen to it, imagine how bad it is to fucking deal with it, you know what I mean? And like that's kind of the thing that we have to keep going back to.
It's also tough because if you ever let yourself adopt the mindset, it's one thing to feel it for a minute. Like, oh man, I'm tired of hearing about global warming.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired of hearing about climate change.
Sure.
But I cannot internalize the idea that I am sick of listening to this horrible news about what's going to happen to us and I don't want to know about it anymore.
Well, and that's the problem.
Because that's like that's the ostrich comic that every conservative loves to post.
Yeah.
I don't fucking understand the logic behind like waiting for the environment to kill us off because it's an environment, it's natural.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. First of all, I know I'm segueing hard, but like even if global warming is 1,000, global climate change, blah, 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 even if it's 1,000% just a natural process that is happening, and we didn't do anything, even though that the fucking ice records will show you that it's obviously a man-made spike.
Right.
Let's take that out of the equation entirely. We're still humans. We're still smart enough and able enough that we should try to figure out what we can do to make sure the most of us can survive and grow plants.
My favorite thing was like if global
that's
climate change
where terraforming comes in,
right?
And how is that not cool?
That's
not a political idea.
If we can fix global climate change here, we can then settle other planets. Like that's step.
Yeah. How is that? What
that's
the
great.
Fuck?
Also, but like I love the idea. Like even if you can prove for sure global climate change doesn't exist, worst case scenario, we now have a better place to live. So like, what are we upset?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand like the. And then I've also heard these weird ideas from certain people over the years where they say like, "Oh, we'll adapt," and I'm like, "Well, there's conditions that like we would not be able to adapt to, or we would adapt in such a way that you wouldn't like it."
Right, and so, also like if you're talking about adaptation in terms of like acclimatization, like in one lifetime where we just figure out what to do.
Specifically, this person too was like I think they were talking about like mutations over time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
They were talking about adaptation, but this was a person who wouldn't take adaptation into evolution.
Oh, it's one of those. I believe in adaptation and not evolution. Yeah, that's even though they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they missed the fact that any significant adaptation that would allow us to survive at hot temperatures would take tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of years.
Which sounds like evolution.
That's how that works. Yeah. You know, two things that are really important. Number one is that I want to finish this thought really quick. Is that we're talking? No, it's fine. We were talking about trigger warnings. And I briefly mentioned that that's offensive isn't a full argument. And I wanted to add on and build on that a little bit and just throw out that, like...
That's good, we should.
If you can talk about why something's offensive and the harm that it causes, that's an argument. But just being offended isn't. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but, like, I especially have problems with this when it comes to, like college settings and things like that. Like, colleges should be more free than other places generally, especially for like exploration and speech and thought. And yes, that means you're gonna have a lot of douchebags that say a lot of dumb things. They need to explore that and get it out and then figure out why it's wrong. That's the way that they learn. And like, yes, you're gonna have like terrible ideas that are being talked about. You need to talk about them. It's not good enough just to say Nazis are bad. You need to explore what they actually believed so that you can understand why they believed it and then recognize that dumb shit next time it comes along wrapped in different clothing. Because that's what happens a lot. Is like fascism gets brought in again and again and again with different branding and different paint on it, and people don't see it coming because they're like, well, at least it doesn't have a swastika, so it's okay. They
used a lot of different shit.
Yeah.
And they used occult practices. They started with small groups and made them feel super awesome.
Well, I just mean like general like the ideas of like scapegoating. Like it's not it's not our country that's fucking up. It's these other people that are coming in here. It's the illegals that are coming in and taking our jobs and our taxes and blah. That kind of shit. Sowing distrust of institutions. This whole you can't trust the voting process. You can't trust the CIA. You can't trust CIA. But like you can't trust the government statistics. You can't trust the this that the other. But every institution that I don't like that says something that I don't like is wrong. Sowing distrust of intellectualism in education. Well, they went to one of these liberal colleges where they indoctrinate you into being a Democrat and blah, blah, blah. I've heard that so much. I've heard several people say that the more education you get, the dumber you get because all these educated people think that, the government's bad and all these things. And that want to teach about how racism happened in America when really America's always been great. That adoration and idolization of founding fathers, that's a part of it. Like that you need to explore these ideas and understand where they come from and why they worked so fucking well. You really think that fucking a bunch of people just got together and were like, let's murder millions of people, it'll be great. And there was a reason that worked so well, and you need to learn that shit. And you can only learn that by being exposed to it and like understanding it. Like, you can't
again and again and again.
This is all on the topic of like just offense, triggers, all these things.
Now,
like there's a
what we need to address though probably
there's a value in everything that's offensive to like learn.
Like there is, but we're
better.
With the triggers, it's kind of like it's different.
It is, and I'm not arguing against that. I'm just I wanted to explore the concept of being offended.
I just want to make sure that the people who see the show know that.
Yeah, well, the people who see the show are making a bad decision in the first place. Oh, and the second thing that I thought was the second thing I said there were two really important things. One of them I want to explore that.
We never.
That was the second thing. We never started the show.
Yeah, we never started.
We're
the show.
20 minutes in. We have yet to begin the show. So
should we do it now and just do it right now in the middle so people like that way it's really weird and obnoxious?
Yeah, that would be great. That's exactly what I was thinking because like we're about to come up to the point where we have to put in the ad break anyway.
Yeah. So let's
we'll do it now and then the ad break in 5.
Welcome to the.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the show where we understand entirely the importance of warning people about potentially offensive and triggering topics, and yet still refuse to do anything about it. My name's Forrest.
And I'm Ben.
And this is I'm Not Comfortable With This, the worst podcast on the internet since 2021.
Yeah, I don't think I was making anything then.
No, we just started doing this.
Or that would have been it.
Oh man.
Okay. And then
and then it plays the whole thing, and it's already happened by this point. We are irresponsible fuckwads. You can't expect like a show where it is completely off the cuff to have, unless we're gonna be like, all right, now hold on, I'm gonna talk about this. Well, that's why
I think we do the caveat of at least at the beginning of the show, maybe we drop a thing that says we're potentially gonna we'll write a script for it, but it's something like this is a loose off the cuff conversation show. We will potentially bring up things that might not.
You think we should have like an actual proper set intro that just says like, hi, welcome to the show.
You just flash it at the front of the screen. You just put words up and they can read it. And you say it. One of us will say it. We'll read it over the script in case they're listening only, so that they have it just like other podcasts do. A lot of other podcasts do it in a shitty way where it's kind of demeaning, but I'm saying this would be like an authentic thing where we're saying like, just so you know, we tend to bring up topics that might trigger certain people.
Semi-authentic, because we're going to... knowing us and considering the fact that we at least I genuinely believe it, I'm gonna put in there that this show is awful and should not be viewed by anybody.
No, yeah, you can. That's fine. That is a.
But I'm not gonna be like, if you're a little snowflake bitch, you shouldn't be.
That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. No, I would never say that because I'm a little. Snowflake.
Let us know
I'm a little snowflake bitch.
Let us know in the comments if you think that we should put like a 3 to 5 second block of text at the beginning of every show, just at the very front.
We don't need to ask them.
That just says like, hey,
we already know we should do it.
Let us don't watch this for any reason. This show is a toxic waste of extreme liberal nonsense, and you need to not tune into it if you want to not go
I'd
crazy.
say this show is pretty balanced, honestly, when it comes to the liberal thing, because like I'm pretty liberal, but I'm also not a revolutionary like yourself.
I am extremely leftist. Yeah.
And I don't believe in revolutions.
Yeah.
At all.
Why not?
Because every revolution I've ever seen has produced something similar to this.
I mean, there's
it's just a mess of people fucking up for years.
None of them are perfect, but
it's people.
Things tend to get better.
Yeah. But it also, I'm just saying, like, it seems like whoever did a revolution is gonna make sure that they come out on top, and that in and of itself, to me, is pointless. So
you're just changing out one myopic despot for the next.
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, like, sure, this one's better.
Yeah.
Like, you can say that America turned out way better initially than being under the crown, but like
now it's kind of backslid a whole bunch.
Yeah, like now I would say we're at a point where we've plateaued with rights, and the only progress we make is with technology and stuff. So like our lives are getting better in ways because of technology, but they're getting worse, like
in every other possible
in every
way.
other regard. And I want to even say, like, community-wise, like, I don't like to use the word spiritual necessarily, but I think, like, the spirit is, like, an aspect of you that you should try to, like, take care of. It's not, you don't have a soul.
You mean just like your vibes?
Your
like
vibes, your fucking mentals, like that's all to me. That all could fall under the category of like spiritual care, because like if you're gonna take care of yourself, I mean your mental self. That's the closest thing you got to a fucking soul, anyway.
I guess. Sure, if you want to mince words.
Some people need to mince words for us because they believe in.
Is that a cruise cup?
Yeah.
When did you go on a cruise?
No, it's from Goodwill.
Oh hell yeah. You went to Goodwill. That's for $1, I see, the price tag. So you went to Goodwill and for $1 bought a cup that makes it look like you have a relaxing life.
Do I look like I go to Goodwill?
I mean, we both do, I guess. I fucking, the first,
my loving spouse bought that for me and it holds my coffee. She loves me very much.
The first, 18 years of my life, almost everything I wore came from Goodwill.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We went to Goodwill together as, like, teenagers to shop for fucking hoodies and shit.
Yeah, you remember when we used to go to Goodwill and just, go through the pockets of every pair of pants? Because sometimes people would leave money in there and you could, find a 20 and then you'd use that to go buy pants at Goodwill. Oh, those were hard times. It sucks because Goodwill's a terrible organization, but, they have some cheap clothes sometimes. Except for if you want to go to the one downtown. I want to fucking buy whatever brand of crazy muffins those fuckers are eating because they want fucking $30 for a pair of used blue jeans. And
well, what brand are they?
Fucking, you can get a pair of Wranglers for fucking
no. What brand are the ones they're selling them? If they're Goodwill.
No, yeah, I'm saying at Goodwill you get cheap ass.
Goodwill's selling it for $30. It must be
bad pants.
$3,000.
No, they're just regular ass Walmart pants that somebody else wore and then sold to somebody else who wore them, that gave them to Goodwill, that bought them, that gave them back to Goodwill, and they're very clearly very worn down, and they're fucking $30. It's because the downtown store has it's the big distribution center. So they make everything more expensive there. And they're oh, we gotta pay for all the trucks and the job training and stuff. We're doing you pay blind people $2 an hour. Fuck you. That's it. It's terrible. They take advantage of disabled people a lot at Goodwill.
Yeah, they don't have anything else to do.
It's because there's I think it was fucking Roosevelt that passed it. The original Anti-Discrimination in Jobs Act that says that you can't discriminate against people based on disability, physical or mental, and you have to be able to hire people to do jobs. It has a caveat in there. No, it's the Minimum Wage Act. It's the Minimum Wage Act has a thing about non-discrimination, but it has this productivity clause that was never used for 100 fucking years. It wasn't used for a long time, and then all of a sudden over the past I want to say 50 or 60 years. Big corporations and shit realized you could use it a lot, and so now if you have any kind of physical disability or mental disability, they can, instead of paying you a standard minimum wage, they can rate you based on your productivity. So if you have this company that makes whatever bottle cups or something like that, and they say the average worker makes 10 cups an hour. And so then
this person makes 3.
Yeah. If you make so you're gonna make $7.50 because you make 10 cups an hour, or say $10. Make it easy. 10 cups an hour will pay you $10 an hour. So you get $1 per cup. If a blind person, say, can only make 3 cups in the hour, then we only pay you $3 an hour because you're doing 30% of the work. Meanwhile, if someone who isn't blind only makes 3 cups an hour, they have the legal protection that they still have to make $10 an hour. And so if
fucking weird ass
if you have any physical or mental disability, there's this weird legal caveat where they can pay you less than minimum wage. And there's fucking stories of people at Goodwill making literally pennies. And you work fucking a 40-hour work week and you get your paycheck and it's fucking $6. It's crazy.
You gotta.
These people can't stick up for themselves, and that's it. Yeah, somebody fucking
Somebody
does.
Fucking does that. That's a huge fucking deal. And
it's
also,
madness.
They could just decide at any moment that we're all oh, you're all little vegetable people. You've all been classified as slightly disabled, and you can only make this much now.
It's bullshit, dude. There's a really good documentary called Bottom Dollars that you can watch most of it on, I'm pretty on YouTube if I remember right. But I did a thing once with the National Federation of the Blind, and they were talking to me about this, and it blew my fucking mind apart. And they were talking, I think that was what the documentary was called, was Bottom Dollars, and they talked to me about that. And like, I remember watching it, it was fucking crazy. The sheer amount of abuse and exploitation that like big business gets away with in this country by taking advantage of people with physical and mental disabilities is fucking madness, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
And Goodwill's really bad about it. Like really, really, really bad.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning for people who shop at Goodwill or know what a Goodwill is. Don't fucking support them unless you have to, because we grew up and we had to. So like, you know, it just is what it is.
I bought the cup from Goodwill for $1. I've already supported them.
It is what it is.
I don't even care about that. what the fuck that law? Let's fix the camera.
God damn. All right, so this is now where the ad break goes.
They know.
No, somebody doesn't. There we go. All right. The camera's back on. We are now back in the
was in frame.
It's begun.
That's
we need like a remote control for this. That would be really nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could.
Or a fucking better camera.
Say,
like this.
the camera's amazing, Forrest. It's just made for taking pictures.
Right, but it was cheaper than a camcorder. And this works, but it would significantly
just take it out of our millions.
It would significantly benefit all of my videos if I had like a camcorder. Well, yeah, no, it's a pile of fucking horse shit, man. And that's what sucks is that I think we've talked about this before, but just in case we haven't, there isn't a way, if you are not rich as fuck, to be good in a capitalist society, because all of these fucking companies suck, and I have to shop at Walmart. You know what I mean? I'm gonna shop at Walmart because I need to save some money.
No, I know. Like, this is like one of our
we have
original episodes.
Yeah, that specifically we have.
Yeah, like we talked at length about it. Like it's almost fucking impossible to live morally. And when you listen, here's the thing: when I hear about people who are living morally, usually they're like, they live by themselves, because it's much more easy to do when you just have to make one decision for one person at a time. Like when you're like, oh, okay, you find out, oh, well, I order these nuts from here, and there they blow the little kid's head. Fuck, they blow their heads off. Trigger warning. They blow their heads off if they don't pick the nuts fast enough. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's the world.
How can we preface this?
I don't want to support that, so I'm gonna get my nuts sourced over here where I know.
You gotta resource
I know that these nuts are produced very, very cleanly, and nobody's hurt, and everybody's paid a living wage. So I can make that decision for myself easily, but that's one item.
And those nuts are $50.
Let's say you do it anyway, though, because you're a good person. You're trying to do the right thing. Again, this person is obviously their heart's in the right place, so they do it. Well, what you didn't know is that those nuts over there were never supposed to be grown there, and they've completely fucked the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault.
Right.
You're just trying to eat healthy and be good.
Right.
You're trying to be good.
And like the problem is...
Nobody's mad at you for that.
You can't make these good choices unless you're very wealthy. And if you're very wealthy, you're already kind of a dick. You know what I mean?
Because how'd you get wealthy?
You're exploiting people. It sucks.
Like, this is almost a form of exploitation because people need entertainment. So we produce entertainment in the hopes that 1 million people will each provide us with 2 pennies.
The fact that you're fucking watching this and putting yourself through this, you deserve financial compensation, and we're not giving it to you. We're taking it from you.
We can't. You should be careful about saying that in the videos because, like, somebody could
chop that up and sue us. Like,
you said it right
this there. Show was so bad, it caused me severe emotional damage. I haven't slept in weeks because I can't stop thinking about this awful show.
That's real shit, though. That's why I tried it. I think we have enough levity in our show where we joke and we have fun.
We have fun here.
We're
a family here.
We're a family. We do bring up positive stuff enough, I think, that it's not like a completely dark show. But there are plenty of channels and things I watch on YouTube, and I think I've talked about this before on this show, where they're like, it's very, like, whether it's good or bad, it's very negative, depressing, like, face in the dirt content that makes you feel like shit. And I'll watch these videos for a while, and then I start to feel myself, like, not being good anymore. Like, not be, like, like, it's bad, it's starting to fuck with my mind, and I'm like, okay, I need to back off. Like, I love true crime. I have to take week-long breaks from true crime, or I'll go insane. Because like I'll just think, oh, suddenly everybody I see on the street is a potential serial killer,
Yep.
and like, are the doors locked?
Yep.
Lay down. Did I lock all the doors? Yeah. So I have to like, you have to give yourself time to like let that out. It sucks because like there's video games, right? I love video games. I don't play them much anymore, like at all right now. But even whenever I was, like, I started to realize that like it's not so much that like, oh, I can't like play violent video games, but if you play like a specific like Doom, right? You play Doom for too long, or like GTA for too long,
Start wanting to jump off of shit and
like you do have to like it's just your brain.
Yeah, you're
and
just
like
doing
you
thing.
that's why you have to take breaks from shit, like certain content, video games, movies, music. All
just
of
kind of
it.
just switch up your repertoire every now and then. It
And
is
especially
crazy.
the
Like,
news.
I find that like that also applies to other. Like I own a few guns, and I find that when I bought my
Piece of
first,
shit.
all right, I found that when I bought my first one, like the first like 2 weeks of having it, I was more convinced at that time that I might need to use it someday than I ever had been. Like I bought it understanding like what it was and what it was for.
Yeah.
And then I had just, but then at that moment it became real. I was like, oh my God. And I would like just check and make sure it was around. Like, oh my God, somebody's going to break them out. Like that, because it's the propaganda that was fed to me. That it's fucking crazy.
Even though you're like not even like that, but like
No.
it still gets in
But
your
like
head.
it's just nuts, and like that's, oh my God. And I feel like people like who attend certain political rallies, who listen to certain political or socially charged talk shows, people go to churches and things like that. Anytime you're exposed to a certain kind of rhetoric, or you participate in a certain type of system, or you buy a certain type of thing, you're gonna get wrapped up in that mentality, that kind of that archetype of what that's supposed to endow
especially
into you.
Rhetoric. Rhetoric is extremely,
so powerful.
and like
It's so
the
powerful.
way you say things. Like
Yeah.
Going back to church, like if you grew up in church, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You pick up on the way they say their flow, so to speak.
Yeah.
Pastors have like the really crazy ones always have, they hit everything a certain way. It's like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Jesus is coming back. It's like, and there's a flow to it, and that's not only like a trick to captivate an audience that they've been taught and they've worked on over the years. That is a psychological mind fuck. Like the way you say things and the way you hit syllables, it lulls you in. It will lull certain people, and eventually most people, if they listen long enough, into a complacent thought pattern where they can like internalize dumb shit.
Greg Locke, that's the guy.
Like Scientology, he talked like that. Fucking L. Ron Hubbard, he had a way when he talked. He had a specific way he talked about everything, and it shows up still to this day when other people talk about him or for him.
Greg Locke is that pastor who he was all over the news for a long time.
What happened?
Because he was the guy who was up there screaming at his congregation that you can't be a Democrat and be a Christian. All Democrats are demon-possessed devils, and like if you're a Democrat in this congregation, you can get out right now. And then he started talking about witches and fucking there. I know there's a witch in the audience right now. I know you're out there, you demon, and I cast you and all this shit. And like, he's fucking crazy. Like, he's absolutely lunatic. And like, I'm pretty sure he lost his tax exempt status, and like he's all over the news now. He says a bunch of really horrible, homophobic, hateful shit as well. But when you listen to, you wonder like, why would anybody fucking listen to this lunatic? When you listen to him, he's a really good speaker. He gets that crowd fucking whipped up. The way that he talks and the way that he gets excited about it. He is a traditional like Southern revivalist pastor. He gets that fucking crowd going, and like that's what's so dangerous, is that he is charismatic. He's fucking stupid, ignorant, crazy, deluded madman, but he's very charismatic and he gets people excited, and like that's dangerous as fuck.
And he's dealing with an audience that's already like, they were born primed for his message.
Yeah,
and that's like,
they're already pre-indoctrinated. They come in this way. Yeah, it's like, so all he has to do is just play into their fears. And of course, this is the religion that teaches that like the signs of the end times is that people are trying to take your religion away. So the more people tell you you're wrong, the more convinced you can be that you're right. And it's like, it's fucking evil.
Which is also terrifying. Because here's the thing, I'm not trying to take anybody's religion away. I'm just trying to keep it the fuck out of my life.
Yes.
And out of my kids' lives and my family's. and like future families.
I want to free you from your religion. I want to help you get rid of it yourself. I don't want to take it from you. I want to help you get rid of it yourself.
It would be nice if most people stopped being religious.
It would be great.
And like, I mean, it would be a lot more cool if like the whole religious journey was just a lot more of an individual thing.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause deep down, that's what it is. Like, if you're going to go on some sort of religious journey, it's only you.
Yeah.
These other people don't matter. You're trying to figure something out.
Mm.
Unfortunately, people aren't going to help you much.
Right.
I'm not saying don't listen to people when you're trying to get your philosophical ideas.
Oh, yeah, no,
down,
that's the whole point of it,
like,
is to explore what other people think. Yeah.
You just got to, you explore it. You don't internalize everything somebody says just because they say it good.
Intelligence is being able to entertain an idea without accepting it.
Yeah, like, I mean, fucking, what's his name? Friedrich Nietzsche? He said a ton of cool shit. Mm-hmm. He's also completely dumbass motherfucking idiot.
You get a lot of shit that I didn't agree with too, yeah.
Yeah.
There's whatevs.
It's fine. It's fine. I just think,
like, I can't think of one of my, like, I have so many of my favorite philosophers. I can't think of one that I was kind of like, yeah, well, but sure, you know, that's how all of it goes. You should be your own, you know. I mean, I wouldn't say favorite philosopher. I don't want to sound like a self-important dick, but like, you should be able to like condense and make up your own way of thinking without like just 100%. I believe what that person believes.
I just think most people are philosophers if they think about it, and if you call yourself a philosopher as a title, then you're probably just an asshole. Yes. There was a time when that was cool. Like, we were all kind of sitting around a lot more in general.
Yeah.
And you could say like, oh yeah, I'm a thinking guy. Yeah. That's what somebody pointed at a dude and they said, what is your job? What are you doing here? And he was like, I'm a thinking guy. I think about stuff, and then they had to come up with shit real fast.
It is
and that
crazy.
Was philosophy.
There are people today who are professional philosophers.
I know there are.
Job
it's cool. It's
is
cool.
To study ethics and everything, and just kind of like think about it.
It's
like,
necessary.
What if it's this? And then that's their job.
That's cool. How do you get that job? You have to get a master's in fucking. You have to get
thinking, a bunch of. I think if you look up online like how to get it, like what to do with a philosophy degree, it's like, all right, so what you do with the philosophy degree is you get another philosophy degree and then another philosophy degree and then you teach philosophy. It's like, shit.
Sounds rough.
I remember watching I don't know, do you watch Wisecrack?
Yeah.
It's great. And they referenced philosophers that like they had like color photographs of them like in the 90s, and I'm like, how are there just philosophers walking around? And it dawned on me that there's philosophers. And like, what you think about like Nietzsche? What was he doing? He's just like fucking sitting I'm a philosopher. What do you do? Like, what's this? What a bizarre. Surely you have a day job before you go and philosophize. Like,
yeah, they've also kind of made it so that you can only certain people can reach that position though. At this point, like, I mean, I don't know what his situation was, but I'm sure back then it was easier to have a place to live and not make as much money.
Well, that's the thing. When you read up on like all these like old like Nietzsche and Descartes and Kant and Hume and all these people and Soren Kierkegaard, I can never pronounce the last name.
Corgan Burgunder.
Corgan
Burgunder.
His first name was Soren. It doesn't matter.
That's a good name.
I can never fucking remember how to pronounce his last name.
Soren Kierkegaard.
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
He fucking, when you read up on all of them, all of their, it's just like, and they worked for their dad's company for a while, and then they were an accountant, and then they were and then they just came out with this fucking groundbreaking new view of reality and published it, and everybody really liked that, so now that's what they are. And it's like, how is it now today you get a PhD in philosophy and maybe you'll write a book that some people read? How is that so different? And it's like, I don't know, man. It feels very weird. It feels like a totally different world. And I wonder when that era like shifted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like science and stuff today. A lot of the early scientists, like the biggest, most influential ones, just some dude wrote some shit down, did some experiments, they had some time, whatever. And like there was less knowledge, I guess. Now, like, there's discrepancy. You hear people talk about, oh, Bill Nye isn't a real scientist. He only has a bachelor's degree. It's like, yeah, he is. He's a scientist. That's a part of it. But even if he didn't, he could still call himself one if he did certain things. But it does matter, and it doesn't matter. But also, and it's like the same fucking thing.
What's his bachelor's in?
Mechanical engineering.
That's what I thought. So he does know some science.
Well, mechanical engineering is a fuckload of physics and math. That's all it is. So he's a physicist. He's got a tremendous amount of knowledge about physics. And then he went out and worked for Boeing. He invented some plane parts that I believe are still used today. And then he went out and made his show teaching science. So he is a scientist and an educator.
A lot of people don't understand how things happen. Like I meet a lot of people now, like just on a one-to-one basis where we talk for a few seconds, just they're passing through where I work and stuff, who like do this or that thing or have done this or that thing or worked with these people or those people. I mean, like you meet like I'm getting more and more. I'm beginning to understand that like everyone is just a person, and like nobody is actually that special, and like anybody can just show up in front of you and they're just a flesh bag like you. And like that concept of like, oh, like you'll meet somebody and they're like, yeah, I worked with a dude who published an article that got my indie dev studio noticed by Nintendo, and then they took my game, and like and you'll meet people all the time who have these little stories, and it's one small thing. But it, and it's like, that's you're not that far away from anything at any given time.
And like that's one of the things I love
even
the
though
most.
It feels like it.
One of the things I love the most about the day and age that we live in is that like so many like big Hollywood stories. You had to be in the right place at the right time to meet the right person, and the world was a very small place at that time, and like you couldn't. It was really hard to figure out, like, oh, I just happened to meet how much wasted talent, all these amazing would-be movie stars and everything that just didn't get noticed.
Who didn't get noticed?
Anybody can put anything on the internet, and people are getting discovered left, right, and sideways. And more than that, we're also breaking away from that traditional, like, you don't need an agent and a talent agency and a manager and all. You can just do it yourself and get a sponsorship and just do it your own way.
Yeah, you can just run yourself into the ground and do the job of 10 people on your own, and that's more fun and more rewarding and more cost-effective.
You don't have to fucking blow some blubberous old bloat up in a fucking tower to get your fucking movie role anymore. You can just put your shit on the internet and somebody will pick you up.
Well, yeah, it's like when I think about making YouTube
Trigger
stuff.
warning.
I don't.
On blowing blubberous bloats.
I don't. Yeah. Yes. Good. I don't think like I don't want to do like it's kind of fallen to the wayside anyway. But like networks on YouTube, like where people like. And I'm going to use the worst example, but like Machinima. They come along, they
or watch Mojo.
Yeah, all that stuff. They dig up a creator and they're like, hey, we got a contract for you. They throw them some money and they help them out a little bit, but they mostly just screw them over. Like, I don't want to do that, but I do want to make my own network. I don't want to be in a network. I want to make a network. And then if somebody comes to me with content and I want to help them publish it, like, I want to say, okay, here's what we can do for you. Like, here's what it would be like, and then this is what we would ask for, and then I want to have a discussion with those people, and if they don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's fair, then they go on their way, but we don't do dumb shit like DMCA each other and fucking, like, it's so stupid. Some of the things these networks are doing to little creators, I'm just like, you're a piece of shit. So I do want to create like my own fucking media network, and I want to be like good about it. I want to be. Like, I want to create a place where people can come to try to make things and
give them the resources to
give them as much as I can to help them. Yeah. Like, I don't want to just get super fucking rich. There's no fucking point. I don't even want to I just want to be able to take care of myself and my family and shit, but I don't need, like, there's not a lot more past that. Like, a comfortable buffer, a good home, and reliable transportation. Like, those are the only things I need. Beyond that, I just want to create something that's going to grow and might even outlive me. And that's where things like creating a media company come in. So, but I do want to do it in a way that helps people more than it hurts people. That's like my biggest goal. And I think like
be a helpful man.
That'd be pretty cool. But even then, it's like if you do that, you make a network, you're still to some extent you are exploiting people.
You kill a little bit, yeah. Well,
that's
well, it's because I mean, you're still like, even what you're describing here is still
exploitation.
Potentially, it could be like a capitalistly run thing. But if you could easily make a network that's socialist that doesn't exploit people quite as much. You know what I mean? and like that is a little bit more a lot more functional. And let
it also
them
just
decide
depends
what
on
happens.
what you're doing how much you're actually doing for them. Because like when you're a network like that, I think the idea is like you're gonna give us a certain percentage of your revenue, but we're gonna promote you. We're gonna, I mean, I would assume the relationship's supposed to be like kind of like a record label where they're like, we're gonna take care of all the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Setting up brand accounts and stuff. But again, like you said, at this point, that's almost unnecessary.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I do think for some people, there are people you'll find like maybe a couple people out there that are like they're working on something that's really cool, and all they really need is somebody that can say, hey, you can quit your shitty restaurant job, and I'm going to pay you the same amount of money you were making there at least, so you can keep your bills paid, but I want you to focus on this.
Yeah.
Because I think you've got something here.
Yeah.
And I guess ultimately that's what I want to be.
Yeah, no, I get that, like a benefactor or a patron.
A producer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
but it is, but like in a good way.
Well, like, the thing is, I remember what it felt like to know for sure that I could make something special, but I don't have the tools to do it, and I can't stop working, and I can't go to stop school, and I get, you know what I mean? Like, and all I wanted was for some guy, for fucking Neil Tyson to just notice me and be like, oh yeah, here's $1 million, do it again. You know what I mean? Like, do your thing for a minute. Let's see what you can come up with. That's all I wanted was that break. That chance. And so, like, if I could give people that chance, if I could be the guy, I want to be the guy. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna try to do that.
I want to be somebody's fucking guy. Give him a big old boost.
You're my guy, Forrest.
Thanks, man.
In the straightest way possible.
Oh, well, I'll
in
still
the
take it.
most straightest way. It's pretty straight.
Pretty straight. Straight as possible. Not straight, but straight as possible.
Mostly straight. Curves a little. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is that I just want to make the world a better place, and it's so bad that I don't. Once again, I'm asking you, can we even? I think we can, though. I think we can. I think the next 6 months might be kind of tough. Just in general. But I think I'm also about to get some stuff off the ground. I think you're fucking amazing.
Well, thanks, man.
This show sucks.
This is the worst thing.
I want to keep doing this show because I want it to stay at the bottom of everything else I do.
So at least it's there. So
yeah.
like no matter what you produce, it's better than this show.
Yeah, so I want to keep this going for that reason, but I also want to work on other things with you that are just
I
more
look back at all my old content that I fucking hate. The old Reacteria videos with the bad audio quality, Sex and Sensibility.
I really like to go back to like episode 1 through 5 and read the new comments that pop up every now and then and be like, hey, I'm not even that dude anymore.
Yeah, it's awful because I get new comments on my first video all the time like, hey, your audio balance is really off. I'm like, dude, I know. I fixed it in my episode 2. Like, fuck, man. God damn. But like that's that I want to go I can look back at all those and be like, fucking I hate every single one of these things, but at least it's not the podcast.
And with that, I gotta go to work.
I'm Forrest. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been this you can't say this wasn't a show.
I'm not comfortable with this.
Is
it? I'm not. I'm uncomfortable. I don't even know the name of the show.
It's on your literal clothing right now. I was looking at your shirt while you were wearing that, and I realized how dull the colors are on that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I really got to redesign that logo and get it so it's like brighter and like redo the colors so it pops up on the shirt. And I realized it's funnier that the shirt fucking sucks too. I still got to make the "And I'm Ben" shirt. I never got around to doing that.
Yeah, people are asking for it. I want the "And I'm Ben" shirt.
I'll try to get it done.
I'm thinking about.
Well,
I'm thinking about like maybe commissioning like somebody I know or something, and having them get like a little design to throw on it.
Yeah,
but you can do whatever you want.
If you make like a cool PNG file and send it to me, it's transparent. I can put it on a t-shirt.
It's gonna be okay. Yeah, we can do that.
I'll wait for you then. It's his fault now. It's his fault.
Now it's my fault.
Let us know in the comments.
Hey, watch me sit on this for 3 weeks and then tell Forrest to just go ahead and release a shirt that literally just says "And I'm Ben."
Just in like Arial font.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I'm
Comic
sorry.
Sans.
I got it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you tell us how many gumballs you can fit in your mouth at once. Okay. And that's the show.
And I'm Ben.
And I'm Forrest, and this has been the show that you just watched.
Don't
Thanks
watch
so much.
it again.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.